Well, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Um, Good evening. Hola, bonsoir, Tanishi, Tansei, Bonjour. Um, if I haven't had said hello in a way that speaks to your heart or your place, please feel free to share to everyone in the chat how we can say hello. Good afternoon for me. Welcome. If you're joining us, we've got nearly 300 people and rapidly increasing coming. If it helps you to engage with this more easily and comfortably, there's a show captions button at the bottom of your screen, and you'll get an AI generated but transcript of what's going on. So please feel free to use that. We are in webinar mode because there's so many of you that are passionate about outdoor learning that we can't all fit in a meeting room really. And so you can't unmute, but you can share in the chat. You can use the Q&A to ask questions, and you can use the react button at the bottom of your screen, and you can throw up some hearts or some laughs or however you feel, if that sounds good for you. I'm going to dive right in because we've just got a really fantastic sharing with you. And so I'm just going to share my screen and get us going. So it is the 11th of February 2025, and we are talking disability justice and outdoor learning. So I think many of you will have seen that unfortunately our original presenters, one of them particularly is facing a health crisis, and so they've asked to step back, and we're going to see them in the fall. And we are just incredibly lucky that one of our incredible partners and best people for knowledge sharing in this space, professional development, and as a consultant, Karen Lai was willing to step in and join us. So I'm really, really grateful that we were able to continue on. I'm joining you from Sinixt territory. This picture was taken last week. It's unseasonably cold here, and we were skating on Sinhuinhuitka. Sinhuinhuitka is the Swift River. This was celebrating a year to the date that I became a Canadian citizen, which fills my heart full of pride, and also some challenging things in that. For example, this mountain on the top left, there's an amazing movie. I'll put the link in the chat called Beyond Begbie. This is named for Mount Begbie. His other nickname is the Hanging Judge, and he was well known for being racist and killing Indigenous people when he came to this area. And the indigenous Inselchin Sinai's name for this mountain has been lost. And this movie, short movie, which I encourage you all to watch, is incredibly moving around what names mean and the way that language matters. And so firstly, I was so grateful to spend time with the land in this way. And it was just a new way for me to. I've never skated in a natural place. For me, that looks like death. It looks like scary. My mum, I wouldn't tell her because she'd get upset that I was out on there. But it was such a moving and amazing thing for me to do. And I'm deeply grateful for the land and the environment to do it, but also for the lessons of this place that are tied into this work. And yesterday, talking of language, we wrapped up our Michif, Southern Heritage Michif language course with over 600 registrants. And I have never been in a space that had so much community building and care and affection. And so, something that's really sticking out for me through the work that I'm learning from my Indigenous mentors and pedagogies is community at the centre. And so I'm really, really grateful to be in this community with all of you. It means the world to me. We do have some fantastic things coming up. If you are interested in deepening your connection to Indigenous ways of knowing and being, we've had Dr. Robin Wilkimmer on Jan 30th next in the Medicine of Stories, and you can sign up for these individually. It's Richard Van Camp, who's an incredible storyteller. And if you're interested in the ways that you can connect to story as medicine, I highly recommend you join us. And the incredible Monique Gray Smith is hosting. For other professional learning opportunities, we're talking school gardening for educators. Starts Feb 19th, soon. Last chance to register. And I know it seems possibly too wintry for this, but it's a great way to get you prepped for the spring or thinking about seeds and bits and pieces. In April, we're going to be talking about teaching in the outdoor classroom with the incredible Laura McLean. and there's a particular tie to mental well-being for both educator and students in that one. And yes, we're here in partnership with a wonderful Take Me Outside, and I'm going to pass it over to my wonderful co-host and behind-the-scenes superstar, Rachel.
I'm Rachel. I'm from Take Me Outside, and on behalf of our organization and our other 30 plus outdoor learning partners, super excited to be here this evening. I've missed the last few because I was away on holidays, so I'm really excited to be joining you all again tonight and learning from Karen. I'm joining you from Treaty One territory, the original lands of the Anishinaabe, the Innuit, and the Dakota, as well as the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Manitoba, where I live, is also the traditional land of the Nishoak and the Dene. Um, just wanted to share a really exciting opportunity that we have coming up with Take Me Outside. Our annual Outdoor Learning Challenge is coming up, and it's free and easy to sign up. Depending on what winter looks like for you, we've got lots of amazing ways that you can engage in this challenge. There's activity trackers, a winter art contests, amazing prizes, and tons of inspiration for you to get outside with your learners and enjoy winter in the way that winter looks for you. So yeah, highly encourage you to sign up. The link is in the chat, and we hope to see you join in that challenge and see all your photos and the ways you get outside from February 24th to March 7th.
Amazing, Rachel. Thank you so much. And yeah, if it doesn't look all snowy and white, that's just because that's a bit of our pictures and our backgrounds. But you can participate whatever your landscape looks like. Okay, we're always really interested to learn who's with us and where you're kind of joining from. I'm going to launch these polls here. They should come up on your screen. There's 2 questions. You can start at the top and work your way down. But we're asking what kind of educator you are. And because there's limited options to put in the boxes, if you let us know in the chat if you don't see yourself represented there. And then where are you joining us from in terms of, we've split it North America because that's where most of our friends are joining from into more sort of areas. But if you're joining from the rest of the world, if we've got anyone here, please feel free to share it in the chat where you're joining from. Amazing. Some supervisors, some occupational therapy. Very cool. Amazing. I'm just going to leave it open for just another few seconds. Maybe 5, 4, 3, a 2, and a 1. Okay, I'm going to end that poll and share the results with you. Okay, so from our reckoning, we've got someone from every kind of educational background here. Fantastic. And some people who are not strictly educators, but just love learning. Fantastic. And people from everywhere. Nobody from the rest of the world this time, but lots and lots of friends from North America, or Turtle Island, as some people refer to it. Amazing. Each and every one of you are important, and this work matters. And, you know, with nearly 400 people here live who are passionate about this, fills my heart with joy to know that we're doing this good work. So thank you so much. Yeah, we've got like 100 partners that we work with. Some are most are non-profit, some are global, international, but lots of them are connected to a particular type of outdoor learning or an area. So please check out our partner page, because if you're looking for funding or support or training that's local to you, or resources, we feel like we're trying to cultivate a one-stop shop for you through our non-profit store, and also through our partnerships. So please join us. Collaboration over competition. We're all here doing this good work. And really quickly, before I introduce Karen, I just want to let you know that we're trying something new in the webinar today. I've done this in meetings, but not in this form. We're going to use something called a Mentimeter. And basically, we're going to share a link in the chat, or there'll be a QR code you can scan. But it's really helpful if, say, you're watching this on your computer, to have a phone or another device handy that you can answer a couple of questions. It's completely anonymous, but it's going to be a way for us to interact, and the results are going to come up on the screen as we reflect on some questions. So don't panic. You'll know when the link's coming. It will be in the chat, but just wondering if you do have capacity to have an extra screen on hand. It would be really fantastic. We've got this beautiful presentation. Then short time for Q&A, so please pop any into the Q&A boxes, and Rachel's up there gathering them up for us to share. And then there will be prizes at the end, as always, so please stay to the end. And you'll be able to access the recording and your certificate of attendance via the link in your follow-up email. You'll get it by 12 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. So if you don't get it by then, please check your spam first or drop us a line and we'll make sure we get that to you. Okay, it's time for the incredible Karen Lai. And you know, I got the old printed bio of you, but I've had the absolute honor of participating and learning from you as a participant in one of your professional learning workshops in several different places. You have presented at every conference that I've organized and come so highly rated that we just every year, please come back, please come back. Sometimes she's too busy and that's okay. But you're an accessibility and inclusion consultant and one of the most knowledgeable people I know about being vulnerable and having difficult conversations, which is something as educators we have to do. You are hilarious, and I am deeply, deeply honored not only to call you a mentor and somebody who's taught me so much and constantly actually challenges me to do better, but a very, very good friend. And so I'm really, really grateful that you were able to support us on short notice and to be here to learn from, because you are fantastic. So thanks, Karen.
Thank you, Jade, for that wonderful intro, and I hope I live up to that intro. Welcome, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. I'm calling in from the unceded territories of the Musqueam language Common Nations, otherwise known as Vancouver, BC, here on the west side of Canada. And I was complaining about how cold we are, -2, but right, so take me outside, put everything in perspective when she said it's -40 over there. So -2 is like Hawaii, considerably. So, like they said, I quickly put together a PowerPoint. I've been doing independent consulting in accessibility and inclusion for well over 15 years. I did consulting work with companies, organizations, to embrace vulnerable conversations and authentic and living with heart. So this is a bit of a new field for me, a disability justice lens, but through my years of learning and unlearning my own biases, I put together this quick slide deck. And please, I'm nowhere near knowledgeable about disability justice. So please, if I muck up or say something wrong, please feel free to correct me. We're all in this space of learning together with one another. I am a lived experience of disability. Cerebral palsy. It mainly affects learning. But and it affects my speech, my coordination, balance. And I use that to drive my passion of building inclusive outdoor recreation together. Without further ado, Jay, can you pop up the slide, please? Maybe next slide, please. There's a thing called disability culture. What is a disability culture? And it's the people that identify as having a disability, and but as people with disabilities, it's like a wide spectrum of acceptance. But it's building that collective voice together. Part of a larger group that shares similar life experiences and talents, and is the notion of this culture started about 1980. Next slide. And we know there's so many assumptions about people with disabilities. They can go from I'm sure you all heard of the notion of inspirational porn, where people with disabilities are known as inspiration, amazing, or brave or courageous. There's something wrong. Am I missing any assumptions? There, maybe you can type it in the chat. If there's other assumptions you made incomplete. Thank you, Lara. Like the lazy, absolutely. The needing what to be fixed, slow to learn, something needs to be fixed, uneducated, not trying, and something that I have or qualified for a support worker, perform below expected level. My friends must be told absolutely thinking it, yes. Can't do any able-bodied activities. And where do we get these assumptions from? Where do we get these ideas from? Society, media has a lot to play with it. Family, peers, lack of representation, education system, girls being misinformed. Absolutely. We build all these assumptions, and it's great it's quite interesting how we see more and more people with disabilities in the media, which is good, but are they portrayed in the right way? And is the diversity of disabilities portrayed in the right way? We don't know. Next slide, please. So I'm sure you all know the infants in the world trans phobia, racism, And there's this notion called ableism, and some people have spoke about it in the chat. It's the idea that we think being a person with a disability is lower, is not normal, is lower than able-bodied. So, and unfortunately, ableism is deeply embedded in our society. It's how the structures are made up of, how our language, I quite often use the phrase, let me run over there, but I can't run. So why do I even use that language? That is deeply embedded in our everyday language. Ableism can target our bodies, minds, and even our culture as not good enough or not worth enough. And ableism can be personal, but it can be so much bigger and larger as part of a larger system, like the schools we go to. All the systems we have today are built on able bodies, white male system. Next slide. The ableism is about name calling. It's making fun of someone but not doing something better or faster, leaving someone out, forcing everyone to do the same thing. If you think about it, it's like a system. It's making everyone to do the same way. And insisting that everyone's bodies should be the same, teaching someone would something, doing something differently, um, believing that all people with a certain features, a certain way, thinking that someone who is disabled is not capable, skilled, or smart, believing people with disabilities don't belong in the family. Like we all said, it's the same as what we said about the assumptions of people with disabilities. Similar, they are the same thing, like root causes of ableism. It's from culture, it's everyday language, and how others portray us. And quite frankly, money is a root cause of ableism. It's the need to be independent, the need to be successful, the need for capitalism. And I can witness, as I personally witnessed, I was brought up in a very ableist family. My parents told me to work double as hard and prove other people wrong. Work, learn, put your triple, if it takes you triple time to do it, then you would, I was really forced into that ableist mindset because I was not actually told to say that's okay. Disability, let's accommodate for your disability. So I was brought up in a very ableist mindset. Next slide. So how does ableism play out in the outdoors? We tend to exclude people from their activity. There's many segregated programs, there's many mainstream, and sometimes they don't mix together. Not to say there is not a need for segregated programs. There is a need for segregated programs because some people within the disability culture like to be in segregated programs. It goes back to valuing the individual. Where do they feel most comfortable in? What kind of setting do they feel most comfortable in? Another way is how ableism plays out is not having the appropriate equipment. Other doing things from that person with disabilities, like their need for learned helplessness. What are other ways that ableism can play out in the outdoors? Planning not inclusive and not acceptable? Absolutely. How many planners or outdoor educators do we have in the room? And we don't include people with disabilities in the planning data. Another way is layout is the adapted that being outdoors alone would change. Absolutely. If one of the outdoors is a good element, but it needs to be complemented with other play settings. Treating disabled children like Bradley. Yeah. Lots of good examples of how ableism plays out. Absolutely. Only one option for engaging activities. Calling a program or a hike or walk instead of an event. And sensible infrastructure. These are so good, so good. Keep them coming. Next slide, please. You know, I can do this from my own perspective. Absolutely. As people with disabilities, we tend to feel our own internalized ableism. And I feel like you know, sometimes you're not disabled enough that you have to. I saw someone write bigot, but sometimes you need to do that to get the support you need. Um, I felt like I needed to constantly prove myself, like I don't belong. Feel like, you know, I've been made to feel. I remember in elementary school, I was known as the teacher's pet because I got all these accommodations. And feel like a burden and a lack of self-confidence and not liking yourself. So it's a real journey of accepting where disability fits into your life and what role does it play in your life. Next slide. And other things is feeling that you're helpless or you're unwilling to do certain things, forcing yourself to do activities that you hate. Never being asked, never asking for accommodation because you feel like a burden. Being pessimistic about your future, feel having low self-esteem and low expectations and comparing yourself to others. So as a person with disabilities, we all have internalized ableism, which are contributed by the able-bodied structured system that we live in. We always compare ourselves to the outside world. Next slide. This is where I'll turn it over to Dave in being the mentor media thing, but I have three questions for you. Where do you see ableism at work? How do you see ableism playing out? And how can we address ableism? I'll turn it over to Dave.
Thank you so much, Karen. Always get my brain whirring and thinking, and I'm supposed to be doing other stuff. I'm like answering the questions in the chat. Like your questions, I'm supposed to be doing other stuff, but it's always so engaging. Okay, folks, if you haven't done a Menti meeting before, hopefully this should be pretty accessible. So you can either take the camera app on your phone and scan this big QR code on the left-hand side of the screen, or you can open just an internet browser and type in menti.com and use the code 79317275. Or Rachel has put the link in the chat there. Here it is again. That's not the right link. Rachel hopefully will pop it in again for us to share. And then this is completely anonymous. Your name, your email, nothing that you participate here is linked to you as a human, if that makes you feel more comfortable in sharing. So please just join us if you can. So it will look like this, and if folks are able to join, there might be a little thumbs up button somewhere on your screen that you can join in with, and then you should be able to start adding some answers to the question, where do you see ableism at work? Amazing. Yes, we got some people. It's happening.
Technology. When building at 3 floors only, except for the price there. Yeah, field trip not chosen with disability in mind. Sabotage, lack of presentation. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And the wonderful thing is we can download all of this as well in a PDF. So I'll make sure that goes out in the follow-up resource so everyone could see this and get to kind of keep it as a reflection piece.
Not enough support for children. 12. Planning programs for those with disabilities. Eye rolling at requests for door openers or accommodation. Playgrounds, no automatic doors. Micro and macro aggression. These are so good. Unfortunately, we are so embedded in ableism. And the outdoor trails, yeah. Great. Thank you for your next question. How do you see ableism playing out? Assuming that one person to say, two steps forward, one step back. Absolutely. Accommodated a last minute thought. How they respond to this, making people feel less than being bullied or harassed or trapped. People being left out and not feeling valued. These always putting their onus on to be people to advocate. Yeah, constant period. One side, but seeing people speak differently. We're getting that growth look different in everyone. Okay. The equipment doing how you when practices. Great. Shall we go to the next question? And then the last one is that we have about 394 participants. How can we all take a role in addressing ableism? Because then what is the right learning? Absolutely, we're all here to learn. And I mean, I always say that we are human and we all grew up just learning from each other. Educating ourselves about ableism, having humility, open conversation, ask the people affected by disability affect how ableism affects them, get informed, advocate things, and set policy, be an advocate. Absolutely. Those are all great ideas. You can write a proposal to the yeah. So, having people with disabilities access people in decision making. Mhm. I would love you all to be my allies. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Let's move on. So in to carry on with the idea of how can we all change systems? How can we all balance this doesn't grow? And how do we decolonize the notion of ableism? Um, and the first I have 12 ideas. We need to always have expectations and feel free to call us out. You know, just because we have a disability does not mean we can't call them out. And this goes back to having value for them. As any other person, we all want to be valued. We all want to be feel included. We all want to feel the need to belong. And we need to add value and ask for the contribution. We need to continue to have open and authentic conversations. Just be honest. If you don't know, then say, I don't know much about your disability. Can you tell me? Um, and we need to make space where people would live is very to be at the table and to be possessing of power. And this is what someone said in mental media. How many people with disabilities are at your table of decision making? And he has been in the disability space for about 30 years now, been working in this field for 30 years here in Vancouver, and it drives me nuts. This is one of my pet peeves. How many people without disabilities work in disabled organizations? And who's at the CEO is a able-bodied person? How can they design programs for people with disabilities if you don't have staff members in your staff with disabilities? Trust me, that is one of my pet peeves. Anyway, let's move on. We all need to be curious and vulnerable. We need to make mistakes. We need to own up to it, and that's how we learn. We need to acknowledge our own limitations, to be authentic, and to be true to ourselves be comfortable in our own gift. Next slide. We need to support each other learning. We learn from each other. We need to understand each other and respect what everyone brings to the table. And someone mentioned in the mentoring media that we need to be humble to realize, to respect each other and to learn from each other. That's how we grow. We need to talk about our own space, our own power, and our own purposes. I recognize I'm a very privileged person. I come from a heterosexual parent, mom and dad. I was lucky enough to be born with a family with resources that know how to speak English very well. They can so they know how to read and write English very well. Those are my translations that brought me where I am today, because they knew how to advocate for me. We need to recognize our own lived experience and our own identity and our own intersectionality and how our own identities intersect with one another. And we're basically all humans. We have only this one life to learn, live, and we make mistakes. We screw up all the time. You accept that, you lean into it, and you learn from others. And then is what makes us human, to be vulnerable and curious. Next slide. If you don't identify as being a person with a disability, you also have a role to play. You can be an ally to persons with disability. To acknowledge your own experiences and abilities, learn about different disability types, leverage your own influence, and promote accessibility and inclusion. And leave the floor to people with disabilities and help identify barriers. And let people with disabilities take the lead. So if you want to go out to visit a playground, you may want to go there on another day to check out the setting first, and then bring your friend the next day to prepare the way for that friend, so that the person with a disability doesn't have to advocate for themselves. So as an ally, we can all pave the way. And people with disabilities can do that, can be an ally to other people with disabilities. If my friend is visually impaired, I can help them being an ally to and create basis where it is good for them to participate as a fellow person with eventual impairment. And one example, like I have a full-time job with a municipality, and we have meetings every day. We have meetings, and my colleagues that know me know how to create this space to make the that a person with a speech impediment can participate in the conversation. So how do you as an ally create spaces for people with different speech disabilities to participate in the meeting? Next slide. So I'm going to leave you with this poem, but before we open it up to questions or comments, but I just got this poem from, I don't know who I got it from, but it's called Having an Accessible Heart. So I am curious about the accessibility of this heart. Is it open? Is it respectful? Is it welcoming? Is it transformative? I am asking myself how I can create ways or avenues in my life of letting in and letting out heart space that honors and makes room for more life experiences, more relationships, more passion, more justice, more fair-mindedness, more beauty, more empathy. I want a more accessible heart for me, those I love, and those I care. And what do I need to let in? Curiosity, humbleness, trust, joy, community, uncertainty, forgiveness, intentionality, adventure, accountability. It also asks us to commit to doing hard work, to be uncomfortable, to live in the tension of vision and reality, hope and disappointment, steadfastness and patience. In a collective work, individually, relationally, institutionally, and culturally, our practices, procedures, policies, and performances need to be built on a firm foundation of rich, rich soil of justice, humanity, and love. I reconfirm my commitment to till the soil where I planted across all domains of my life to live, to learn, and to lead in a more beloved, more beginning with my own heart. Thank you, everyone, and we open it up for questions. Um, Anything that you want to share. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Karen. I have been in many of your workshops and I get something new every time. That's a beautiful poem. I really enjoyed that. And I don't know if you were able to see the hundreds of people like chatting while you were doing that, but lots and lots and lots of connections and community building and people yeah, really resonating with what you were saying. So thank you. Oh, you can see the upwards waterfall of hearts and stuff. All right, we've got just a few minutes, so I'm going to we'll make sure that you get Karen's contact details in the follow-up email, but you can also just go to the recording, scroll right to the end and freeze frame and you'll get all that information in there. But I appreciate that people want to connect with you or maybe book you to do speaking. Someone said about Girl Guides and feeling like your trainings could be really helpful there, and that makes a lot of sense. Okay, Karen, a few things came in. A couple people asked something around this, but they asked about what is best practice for inviting. I'm going to remove the spotlight so that I can see your face better. What's best practice for inviting a person or persons with a disability to a planning table? I recognise that in some, let's say, DEI spaces or organisations, that it feels potentially that like tokenism is a thing, right? Of like, oh, we just have this one viewpoint. Like, how do you, yeah, how can people do this in a way that feels, you know, valuable? Asking for help, asking for knowledge, asking for people to join the table.
I think like I plan many events near my work, and I think having all the accommodations set up for them, like making sure that the um venue is in an accessible venue, making sure that the AML code can that is already embedded in the planning. So you can outline these in the invitation or in the Facebook so that people are already feeling welcome. And then if they require additional support, they'll be more able to like, oh, this is AML. That's right. I need this. So creating that space at the get-go.
Very helpful. Somebody's wondering about advocating for making spaces more accessible, and how best to do that. And I know a few people had said about writing letters to municipalities, or perhaps, let's say, for argument's sake, that this is in a education environment, whether that's formally in a school or an informal education program or recreation program. Do you have any tips for people who want to advocate for making their learning spaces more accessible?
You know, it doesn't have people often think that accessibility has to be a big thing. Quite often, it's not a big thing. And if getting people with disabilities supporting you and writing letters, oh yes, they are always doing the legwork. But it's always nice to hear from people with lived experience. Um, do advocate and do um talent the and it takes a long time. It's frustrating. But sometimes it works. That's the only thing I can suggest. If any of this have ideas, let me know.
Last question. Someone runs outdoor-based programs that focus on being outside no matter the weather and often involve something like hiking. And they're wondering, like, suggesting how they can make their programs more accessible without changing the purpose of the program. And so you talked about no one size fits all, or people shared about that. And I wonder, for someone who's like, hey, we run hiking programs for youth, any tips on shifting that to be more inclusive?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's targeting the person what they need for support. Like, for my hiking trip, I had an extra support person. I had the group, we did group activities of how to work together better in the outdoor spaces. There is this learning among each other. Like, yeah, and it's hard to know depending on disability.
Asking the question, what do you need to make this work for you? Okay, everyone, I'm aware of the time and I want to honor everyone's time. There's lots more things, but lots of things about funding. And I feel like that's a local municipality thing or a provincial thing. It's a local credit union thing. That is really maybe a little bit more of a local research thing, but appreciate that people want to address increasing adaptivity of programs and equipment and things, but we'll send you out. Yes, and a naturally inclusive resource. Someone asked about recommendations for teaching kids. That's a great book. Karen, thank you so much. Glorious as always. And I know that I've been in some of your 2-hour things and we get real juicy and we get really into it. But that was the most interactive webinar we've ever had, with a couple of hundred people sharing. Yeah, I that really worked. So thank you so much for being committed to that being an interactive piece. Often we don't get to do that in webinars. So I really appreciate your thoughts on creating that. It's been amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for creating this space. Thank you for your invite.
The greatest pleasure. Okay, friends, just stick around for a couple more minutes. We've got 4 gifts to give away. I'm doing a random selection, friends. I got 2 $25 gift cards to the Outdoor Learning Store. First person is Victoria Bickham. Victoria Bickham, you're our first winner, $25. Woohoo! Next person is Alexis Cortez Holmes. Alexis Cortez Holmes, you are our second winner for a $25 gift card to the Outdoor Learning Store. All right, next person is someone from Joyce Berglund, Educational Care. Joyce Berglund, you have won a $25 gift card to the nonprofit Take Me Outside store. And last but not least is Kinjal Shah. Kinjal Shah, you are our 4th winner of our $25 gift card. Thank you so much, everyone, for participating, for showing up, for caring about this topic and outdoor learning in general. And we so look forward to seeing you at the next workshop, hopefully. You can go to outdoorlearning.com/events and sign up for those, either our free workshops or our courses. And this won't be the last time you see Karen, if she'll come back to us, that is. Yeah, with 400 people that engaged, please, I hope we can do more things. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Rachel, for your help in the back, and Karen for being host presenter extraordinaire. Good night.